Well, Todd, good to see some great form coming through about your Davis Cup players and heading into the tie against Cairns in September.
Yeah, it's really good to see the guys just chipping away. I mean, obviously we'd like to make huge jumps and have them all ranked in the top 50 in the world. That's an unrealistic view. But all of the guys are starting to win matches. A wonderful result this past week with Carsten Ball winning in Lexington. He was a semi the week before. He lost to Marinko Matosevic, who won that event. So that's 2 Aussie wins in challenges in the United States in the past fortnight. So those guys are really starting to cement themselves. Knock on the door of the Davis Cup, although Carsten's there, we know that, but a new name in Marinko. So, we want those guys to continue on over these next 3 to 4 weeks leading into the US Open with that form and really earn their spot and take the stripes for a gig there.
That next tier of Marinko, Nick Lindahl and the like, what do they have to do to get a spot in the national team?
Well, Nick's had a good year too. He's actually qualified for a number of ATP Tour events, and I think that's the next step for these guys. Is they're cementing their way in challenges, but we want them to be winning matches in tour events regularly, week in, week out, and that means you've got to be really top 100, top 80, top 60 to be able to be in those events regularly. That's the next step for them. So it's a matter of believing in themselves, taking that form and doing it at tour level. So if Nick can get through in this week in LA through the last round of qualies, it's time now to win a match or two, put himself in the quarters of that tour event. Once you start doing that, anything can happen.
What sort of process do you and Fitzy go through to pick the team?
A lot of it's based on form. Of course, we couldn't not have a team without Leighton, and he's shown us and told us that he's going to be in Cairns, which is great. He didn't have his first week on the hard courts in the States wasn't his best. That doesn't really matter. I mean, he'll be out there working his backside off to try to get going for the US Open and for the Davis Cup tie straight after that. But you really want these guys to be playing as many matches as possible. That's how we'll pick the team, based on form. Are they injury-free? Where's their mind at? And the only way they're in good shape in all of those areas is if they're winning matches.
What about your doubles combination? We had Handels and Hewitt up in Brisbane, and yet Carsten and Chris have just won a ATP doubles title. Pretty strong form there.
That's one of the things you want. You want to have choices and options when you're making these decisions. In the doubles, we've got those choices and options. The boys won Newport tour event. They backed it up with a challenger win the week after. That's Carsten and Chris Guccione. You've got Paul Hanley playing well. He beat the Wimbledon champions last week. He's always, the stock player for us. We know he's there. So you've got different partnerships. We've had 2 different ones this year. Gooch hasn't played this year. He wants to get a spot back in the team. That's what you want. You want a little bit of, I suppose, being able to come out and play and win, and everybody wanting that spot creates good competition. And
just finally, what do you expect of the Belgians in September?
Look, the Belgium team are going to be very strong. They don't have a massive standout star, but they've got real solid players in Xavier Malisse and the Rockus brothers. They've got Big Dick Norman in doubles, who plays like Chris Guccione with a massive left-handed serve. He's had good results in majors the last couple of years. They've got a couple of good solid young players to back him up as well. We can beat these guys, there's no doubt about it, but we're going to have to play our best tennis.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd.
Pleasure.